Good day folks, Sean here from Air Photography. Now today we're going to be taking a look at the new Evo Lite. I've had this drone for about a month and a half and I've had a good amount of time to fly it. I didn't want to rush out any type of review until I've had a good amount of time to use it, really understand what its strengths and weaknesses are. Now I've mentioned this before in some of my videos, I really don't like the word review. I think reviews are fundamentally flawed because they can be very opinionated. What works for one person doesn't always work for the other. I may like something, but the next person may not. I like to more refer to these videos as a user experience style video where I share my thoughts after using it. Now, I also want to mention that this video is coming from the perspective of a drone hobbyist. I don't use my drones for commercial purposes, so again, that could make a difference if you are a person who does use your drone for commercial purposes. So as mentioned, I have had this drone for a good month and a half now, and unlike the Nano that was kind of plagued with some problems right out of the gate, this thing has actually been really good. It's been a pretty solid drone right from the beginning. We've had several firmware updates for it over the last couple weeks, introducing some new features and fixing some problems. Now the drone is definitely not full featured yet. There's still a lot of missing features and things that they will be adding. Just like the Nano series, this drone uses the new app, the Autel Sky app, and again, because it is new, it's very limited on what it can do. It's similar how when DJI released the Fly app back with the original Mavic Mini. It was very basic and limited, but over the years it has become quite a bit more robust and more feature rich. And the same thing will happen with the Sky app over time. Now, one thing right away that I want to mention that I'm really curious about the naming of this drone. They call it the Evo Lite. Now, I don't know if that's actually the best name for it because to me, when I think of the word light, it means less than. But this drone is actually anything but. It can go pretty well head to head with some of the top drones on the market. If you compare it to something like the Air 2S, even the Mavic 3, the quality of the image on this drone is pretty well on par with some of today's top drones. It's got a 1-inch sensor. Now you can purchase this drone in two different variants. Just like the Nano, they have the regular model and then they have the Plus model. The Plus model basically just has a better camera. Now my recommendation is if you are interested in this drone, it's probably best to pay that little bit extra for the Plus model. You are getting a much better camera. So let's go ahead here and we'll talk about the camera. After all, the camera on a camera drone is one of the most important components, and it's one of the big deciding factors when purchasing a drone. This camera has a 1-inch sensor. It also has a variable aperture, which can be very important if you're a photographer. If you're a person who likes to capture in auto, which quite often I do, that variable aperture isn't as important. Now, one of the biggest differences of the camera on this drone compared to most drones is that it has an RYYB filter array. Now, I'm not going to even pretend to fully understand what that means, but basically it allows 40% more light in than traditional sensors. So if you're a person who does a lot of low light filming, and not necessarily at night, but just in complex lighting environments, sunset, sunrise, twilight, golden hour, this drone is going to allow a lot of light in and allow for good exposure. Now, personally myself, I don't fly a lot at night, but if you are a person who does like to fly at night and capture nice cityscapes, you'll definitely make use of that new setup. Now, on top of that, this drone actually has a specific nighttime mode that really cranks up the ISO while still having very low noise. Let's go ahead here and take a look at some footage shot at night on the Evo Lite Plus. Now, keep in mind, I'm a person who doesn't fly a lot at night, so I don't know all the tricks for getting good image quality. This is all shot in auto. And as you can see there, it looks really good. Everything is nicely exposed, nice saturation, and there's very little noise. Now we'll look at a few photos that we shot at night. Again, everything just looks fantastic. Everything's shot in auto. So definitely, if you are a night flyer, this is definitely a drone you may want to consider. If you're a person who has owned one of the Evo 2 Pros in the past, the drone is quite a bit smaller. It's a little bit bigger than the Mavic Air, but still a nice manageable portable size. This drone does have obstacle avoidance. We have 2 sensors at the back, 2 sensors at the front there, and then of course 2 sensors at the bottom. Also has an LED light that helps make landing at night a little bit easier. With this particular drone, you can see it's a top loading battery. It becomes part of the shell, unlike the Evo 2 Pro where the battery slipped into the back. So we've looked at some nighttime footage. Let's go ahead and we'll take a look at some shots during the day. Just keep in mind it is winter here in Canada, so things can look a little bit drab. As you can see in this first clip, we're just flying downtown in the city in which I live. This drone is capable of 5.4K image resolution, and it just does a really good job. Now, it's definitely on par with something like the Air 2S when it comes to image quality, and I would almost say the image quality is pretty close to what the Mavic 3 can capture. Although the Mavic Mavic 3 does have a 4/3 sensor. This thing is pretty close. For hobbyists like myself, I don't think I can really tell the difference. If you're a professional, perhaps you can maybe see some differences. Let's just take a quick side by side here. Just keep in mind these were shot on different days, so that can be important as well. On the left hand side we have the Mavic 3, and on the right hand side here we have the Evo Lite. Now, another interesting feature of this drone is that the camera will be able to shoot in lossless vertical. Now, many other drones are capable of that, but what they end up doing is cropping the image. However, with this drone, it actually has a fourth axis. So when you shoot in vertical mode, the sensor inside actually spins on its side, so that way you can get nice lossless quality. Now, shooting vertical video is one of those things, some people hate it, some people like it, some people just find it gimmicky. But if you're a person who posts to social media, like you're filming for things like TikTok, Instagram Reels, something like this is perfect because you're going to get really high quality lossless video. Now, that feature is not available yet, but it will be coming soon with a firmware update. The other thing this drone will be able to do, which is not available yet, and that is tracking. So I can't really talk about it yet. Once it is available, we will test that out fully. Just like most popular drones on the market today, this camera is fully capable of panoramas, and for the most part does a really good job. The only thing I would say is kind of a downfall is that it's really slow. When you compare it to something like the Mavic 3, the Mavic 3 can fire off a panorama in like 10-20 seconds. The Evo Lite here takes quite a bit of time going from frame to frame, so be prepared when you're doing a panorama to spend a couple minutes. It's not a big issue, but definitely something to keep in mind. But at the end of the day, it does a great job with its stitching and creating the panorama. And really that's what's most important. Now, this drone is capable of 16 times zoom, but like most drones that use digital zoom, once you get past 4 times zoom, the image becomes quite unusable. It's definitely good for looking around or getting a bit creative with your shots. Now, Autel has mentioned to me that they do plan on enhancing that quite a bit in the future firmware update, so I guess we'll see what happens there. Both the Nano and the Evo Lite are fully capable of hyperlapses. Now, the hyperlapse tools built into the app, the Sky app, is very limited. Definitely that is something that needs some work. They don't give us very many options when it comes to interval and length of the time lapse, so hopefully that is something that they do address soon. Now, when it comes to the range of this drone, Autel has something called Skylink, that's their version of OcuSync, and the drone is rated to fly for 12 kilometers. Now, what's really interesting about Skylink is that when you're flying within 1 kilometer from the controller, the downlink to the controller comes in at 2.7K. So that's actually pretty incredible. I don't think there's any other consumer drones on the market that does that. That's definitely going to give you a nice clear image on the screen, and it does in fact look quite nice. When you get over 1 kilometer, it's going to automatically switch down to 1080, which is still pretty good. Now, as for range, I haven't done a full range test on it. That's not really something I tend to do on my channel. I've had it out about 2 kilometers. For the most part, perfect signal. Now, depending on where you're flying, that could be different for different people. I've had it out 2 kilometers in both a rural setting and in the city here. Now, if we take a quick look at the controller here, I did talk about it already in my Nano review. As you can see, we do have a new design compared to the Evo 2 Pro, and for the most part, I'm quite happy with it. At first, when I mounted a phone, I thought it was going to be a little top heavy, but once you're out flying it, that's not an issue at all. It's actually very comfortable to hold. The sticks are nice and fluid. If you're used to flying a DJI drone, the flight controls on this are very similar. It's going to feel comfortable to you right away. The control buttons are very basic. We have a return to home, power button, and a pause button. We have some LEDs there at the bottom. At the very bottom here, we have our USB-C charging port. On the back here, we have our shutter button. We have a function button that we can program to do different things. And we have our gimbal scroll wheel. Myself, I find it still a little bit bulky when storing it. It does take up a little bit more room than the controller that comes with something like the Air 2S or the Mini, but generally an improvement over the older style of controller that they used to use. I'm kind of hoping that they do come out with a smart controller for it, for the Nano and the Lite series. That would definitely be nice, something that has a built-in screen that's nice and bright. But I guess time will tell to see if that does come to fruition. So all in all, I've been really pleased with it. Pretty happy with its flight performance and the quality of video it captures. As mentioned, the app still needs some work. It's very limited, but I'm sure Autel will address that over time. Well, folks, that's basically it for this video. Hopefully you enjoyed it and got some value out of it. Give it a thumbs up if you did. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any of our upcoming videos. And we'll see you in the next one.